This is my temporary Heath Robinson solution for looking and checking the frame. I've got a few bits and pieces to do on the frame this morning. One of them is to helicoil this rear skid plate mount. The other is to think about fitting the swing arm, and the other bits will be for fitting the headstock. I don't have a lift or anything exciting, so this is what I'm going to use until I can get to a position where I can put it back on its wheels. There should be plenty of support from the ladder hanging between the roof trusses. The frame itself at the moment weighs virtually nothing, so it shouldn't be an issue, and it keeps it off the ground for me. Before I sent the frame off for powder coating, I tapped this stripped thread, drilled and tapped this stripped thread for a helicoil. I didn't helicoil it at the time because I knew it was going for powder coating. So I've just checked the thread's still good, and now it's time to helicoil it. FYI, it's bloody freezing this morning. It's not actually freezing, but my fingers, I've got virtually no feel in them whatsoever. There we go, it started. This is an M6 thread I'm putting in here, which should match the original one. There we go. Is that about the right depth? Just check that. Maybe go in another quarter turn. Right, it's time to break the tab out. If I can do it this way. The tabs are quite tough on this. Screwdriver time. Okay, I just used a narrow screwdriver and a mallet and just tapped the tag out the back of the helicoil. So good, that's one job done. This is the first part that's going to get fitted to the frame. It is the steering lock bracket, and it should be a fairly easy fit. Famous last words. I've had to just run a small file up the inside of these holes here where the powder coating has filled the void slightly, and that allows the screws to go in. They're not actually screwed in, they're actually free floating in there, and the threads themselves are on the steering lock plate. I'm just going to do a quick dry run to make sure everything fits, and then I'm going to apply some thread lock and tighten this down. Okay, so thread lock time. Never quite sure how much thread lock you're supposed to use. A bit. So I don't want this coming undone in use. So there we go, first part back on the bike. And so it begins. There's the frame looking lovely and shiny. Very nice. And there's the helicoil we did a bit earlier. If it's focused, I don't know if it is or isn't. Incidentally, yesterday, as it was a crappy day, I went and had a new tyre I bought a few months ago. It's a 23-inch tyre, and I got it from the Great Southern Auto Jumble down at Bewley. Got a good price on that, so I had that fitted yesterday, and then I got a new tyre for the rear. I've gone for a trials tyre. I've gone for a trials style tyre to match the sort of profile of the front tyre, and it's narrower than the enduro style tyre that I had on before, which was causing some rubbing interference with parts of the battery box. So this is quite a bit narrower, nice sticky tyre, and a profile that is probably a bit more in keeping with what would have been on there originally. So that was a bargain as well. The tyre itself is technically second hand. The chap at the shop fitted it for a guy who then decided he wanted a more knobbly tyre. So I paid a mere £30 for that rear tyre. So yeah, so all in all, not bad. So I'm looking forward to fitting those in the bike in a few days. God, it's cold out here, I can barely talk. The next job I want to do is to fit the steering lock mechanism, and I have to do the lock-in first, because once this plate is fitted it will be very difficult to do that. So that's how it's organised. Got 1, 2 screws. Again, I'm going to apply thread lock to these because it's again another part I don't want to come loose whilst using it. There we go, and that's in place, and I will just check that the lock works before I fit it into the yoke itself. Okay, let's see what happens. Make sure it's not binding. That's fine. That's working, so that's good. The next part will be the fitting of the steering lock bracket in here. In order to save filming time I will just get on and do that, but I will be using thread lock and the modified security bolts we took out. Okay, so that's the steering lock bracket fitted with our modified security bolts which sit nice and flush. They've been thread locked, so they shouldn't come loose should the vibration levels be too high. So yeah, so there we go, steering lock fitted and working, which is great.